As the evening proceeds, some of us indeed may get the temptation to check on what's happening in another part of the world. To check on what announcements are being made. You may be sitting with a friend and colleague. You may indeed be listening to what will be the great words of President Lagarde, and your phone may begin to buzz. So I ask you, if that happens, to pause for a moment before you look. And in pausing for a moment before you look, let's reflect on where we are here in Ireland, and let's reflect on where we are here in Europe. And let us tonight, and in the weeks and months and years that lie ahead, let us not always be focused on what others may say. Instead, let us focus on what we can do. Let us not be distracted by the actions of others. Instead, let us focus on our actions. And above all, let us not be distracted, let us not be lured by causes that can divide. Instead, let us look at what we can do that can unite us. And in so many ways, those qualities, those causes, were the qualities and causes that motivated Peter Sutherland, that motivated him to give much of his life and career to public service. And it's why, therefore, it is such a truly enormous honour and privilege to be here this evening with so many friends to present the Sutherland Leadership Award to my good friend and to a truly great colleague and leader, President Christine Lagarde. Now, the truth of it is Christine is far too modest to ever make reference or to describe her achievements. And she will have looked down at away at a video that tried to do some justice to them. And instead, I'd like to speak about the great privilege that I've had in working with Christine over a number of years. As a minister for our country, when she led the International Monetary Fund, in the Eurogroup meeting of finance ministers, and in the meetings of the G7, where it's truly a great privilege to represent the Euro area with President Lagarde. And in those meetings and in those occasions, let me reflect for you, Christine, in front of so many friends here this evening, on how others see you, see your impact, your influence, and your way of leading. But before I do that, let me say a brief word about how many hear Christine Lagarde. As President of the ECB, every word she speaks is parsed by financial markets. And while no evening is complete without a Seamus Heaney poem or reference, and let me go a step further by talking about a translation that Seamus Heaney made. He, in a translation, spoke about the shadow of words are what I hunted, and hunting these is a skill. It's a skill best learned from the elders, because the elders know that nothing is more precious in a word than the shadow it casts. And this is relevant to the work that President Lagarde does on our behalf. Except she doesn't look to cast shadows, she looks to dispel them. And in her work in the financial markets, Traders, bond and equity market analysts, they look for every nuance in every utterance, in every word. It is a responsibility that she rises to every day. But it is indeed a great responsibility that she carries on our behalf. But as I talk about how others will see her, I also then want to address the reality that when Christine speaks, people do more than look, than see, they listen. Whether it's traders, the public, those that she serves in her work as leader of the ECB, whether it's ministers or prime ministers or other world leaders. And they don't listen to her because of the positions and leadership roles that she has held and holds. They listen to her because of her poise, her perceptiveness, her ability to capture the essence of any issue, but above all, because of her ability to make the case for values in a world where the case for values needs to be made. And she has... And she's done this in so many settings and so many stages. In, for example, the meetings of the G7, the finance ministers, the leaders of the world's biggest economies, that she has now attended for 17 years. In all of the roles that has been described, as a minister, as managing director of the International Monetary Fund, and now as president of the European Central Bank, of our bank. So when I think about this, when I was thinking about what I might say here this evening, and a reference to illustrate it, I'll go back to the fact that I quoted a translation. Because in quoting a translation, I'm looking to speak about something that is even more than a poem. Because translation reminds us that not only do words matter, words that unite, words to bring us together, it reminds us of a key idea in the European project, of the deep value of national traditions, but in recognising those national traditions, of working together to identify a common understanding that allows further action and better communication and understanding. It reminds us, and we should be convinced of this truth, that when we confront adversity, when we confront opportunity, it's better to do that together than ever to do it divided. So words matter. But much like a translation, understanding one another is about more than words or language. It's about a shared connection. It's about a shared friendship. It's about understanding people and their values. So this is what you represent, Christine. It's why we're here this evening, to recognise that and to mark your achievements. That's how people see you. It's how they listen to you, because you understand their challenges, you talk about values, and you seek to bring people together. Whether it is leading the French economy through our European difficulties, whether it's your leadership of the IMF at a moment of great economic crisis for the world, or your leadership of the ECB, leading the fight against inflation after a pandemic. So what achievements? But her greatest achievement is to lead while holding high office, but to do so with humility, with humanity, and with wisdom. She is indeed a great leader, but more than that, Christine Lagarde is a good person. A combination of qualities combination of qualities we so clearly recognise, we so clearly need, but we all also so clearly value. So ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for our guest of honour, Christine Lagarde.